the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful, the omnipotent and the omniscient. This is Introduction to Poetry and Drama class weekend semester first. Today's topic is Anton Chekhov and the Bear. Anton Chekhov was a Russian playwright and his play, one act play, The Bear, will be discussing in today's lecture. Anton Chekhov was a Russian playwright and short story writer. He was basically Russian and playwright. He wrote a lot of plays and short stories. His short stories were very famous and they are considered one of the finest short stories in the history of literature. He is considered to be among the greatest writers of short fiction in history. Okay, as mentioned earlier, he was a short fiction writer, so that's why he was famous in the history that he wrote a lot of short stories. His career as a playwright produced four classics. As a playwright, he produced four classical items of fiction, and his best short stories are held in high esteem by writers and critics. Both the writers and critics think that his short stories are very well written and they held him in high rank and high esteem. Along with Henrik Ibsen and August Strindberg, Chekhov is often referred to as one of the three seminal figures in the birth of early modernism in the theatre. Okay, with two other writers, he is considered one of the three greatest writers who revived the drama in the age of modernism in the 20th century. In the 20th century, when 20th century was in its start, these three playwrights were doing their job in a very efficient manner. Chekhov practiced as a medical doctor throughout most of his literary career. He was also a he was, besides having been a literary career, he was also a medical practitioner and a doctor. So he kept on performing these two tasks and he lightly said about his performing these two tasks that medicine is my lawful wife, he once said, and literature is my mistress. Okay, and in an amusing way said that medicine is his lawful wife. He has lawfully gained the the status of being a doctor and a medical practitioner. But literature is his mistress also. He also says that literature is his mistress and uh, he literature is also very important to him. Literature is his mistress, which means that literature is his fun time and spare time. He actually seriously does one thing, that is his medicine, while the playful time is for literature. This can be another explanation of this sentence, that medicine is my lawful wife and literature is my mistress. Now moving on about Chekhov. Chekhov renounced the theatre after the reception of The Seagull in 1896. After The Seagull was his play got on screen, he stopped renounced and stopped going working for theatre. But the play was revived to acclaim in 1898 by Konstantin Stanislavski's Moscow Art Theatre. In that theatre, that particular play of Seagull was again rehabilitated and shown, which shows its permanence and its quality of art. He subsequently also produced Chekhov's Uncle Vanya, and premiered his last two plays. Along with these two great plays, he also wrote these two further plays, Three Sisters and The Cherry Orchard. These are the four great works of literature done by Chekhov. First one is Seagull, then which was revived. Seagull was revived. Secondly, Vania and Three Sisters and The Cherry Orchard. These are the four plays which were very famous of Chekhov. These four works present a challenge to the acting ensemble as well as to audiences. The actors found it very difficult to act, and the audiences also found it difficult to understand. So these are the four classics which were produced by Anton Chekhov. Once again, I am reminding you these four plays: Seagull, Vania, Three Sisters, and The Cherry Orchard. These four works present a challenge to the acting. These four plays were also a challenge for the actors how to act on these plays as well as to the audience to understand it. Because in place of conventional action, Chico offers a theater of mood. He introduced a new thing that is theater of mood that was a challenge and a submerged life in the text. He also said that life should be submerged in merged into the text. Further moving on, Chico had at first written stories to earn money, but as his artistic ambition grew, but as is, he was firstly writing these stories to earn a little bit of money, but with the passage of time, as his artistic ambition grew further, he made formal innovations which have influenced the evolution of the modern short story, which influenced the modern short stories, and came to be they came to become successful, and he became an enlightened person after writing those stories. He made no apologies for the difficulties this posed to readers. He did not made any apology that he was writing difficult stories because his experience which were he were talking were also difficult, insisting that the role of an artist was to ask questions, not to answer them. Or his point of view was that he was the one who was asking questions, and it is not the writer who is to answer. He writer is to ask questions, and the viewers will definitely answer them. So after the introduction of Anton Chekhov, we will be moving towards the summary of the beer. The beer is the one act play written by Anton Chekhov. It discusses the theme of loyalty among the people, and the theme of loyalty is written in the form of a farce. It is a farce play. And the Bear is a comedy play. It has a happy ending comedy play. It has two main characters, Popova and Smirnov. Popova is a young lady whose husband is dead. Okay, now further described here is that Popova, the main character, one of the main characters, is a young lady whose husband is dead, but she is still mourning at his death. But she is doing mourning at his death. She is very upset at his death. She does not leave the house and meet anyone, and she is wearing a black dress to prove that she loves her husband. And even after 7 years of his death, she proves that after the 7 years of his death, she is still very loyal to her husband. It was kind of show off of his loyalty. She was not in reality so much upset, but she was showing that she was upset. Although he was no so unkind and faithless to her, yet she is and will be true to him forever. she tries to portray to the world that the man was unkind and faithless, but she will always remain true to her. Her servant Luca is reassuring and telling her that she is young and should forget her dead husband now. Luca is the servant. This is another character in the one act play. Luca, he reassures that she should forget her husband now, and she should not be mourning her now because it is time for her. It is time for her to move on in her life. He says that there are many good people around and she should get married again. But she is so attached to her husband's memories that she does not agree with him. Her servant's advice does not also act on her well, and she is not willing to forget her husband, and she does not take advice of her servant also. She does not even listen to her servant, and in this way she uh, starts remains doing what she was doing before that particular instance. She The turn of events happens once when Simar comes on the stage. A young man named Simar comes to Pavlova to get his debt back that Pavlova's husband had borrowed from him because he used to buy oats for his horse Toby. So a young man named Semenov comes to Popova. She and he claims that uh, her husband had a certain debt that he has to give. He tells Luca that he wants to see Popova, but she refuses to see him. He tells Luca, her servant, Popova was not ready to see her. He tells to buy बैठ here. He tells that Luca wants to see Popova, but she refuses to see him. He pushes his way in and sits in the drawing room. Luca goes to tell Popova that the devil has come in forcibly. When this Popova refuses to uh, see Luca, refuses to see Sam now, then Popova uh, was forced in a way by Simonov as he comes in house forcibly, and her husband Loka goes to tell her. Popova sees Simonov, tells him that she is in a state of mind that she cannot pay attention to money matters. She comes to Simonov and tells him that she is not in a kind of mind that she could be able to tell about uh, any material or monetarily matters. She will not be able to answer them, and she will not be able to do that because of her specific mindset and mind track she is going on. She also says that he will get his money when her steward comes back from town. But Simonov says that he wants the money now because he has to pay the interest, and if he does not do that, the creditors will take his estate and give him a hard time. But Simonov refuses to listen to what was being said to her because she was also in a critical state as interest takers were chasing him, and he was in a hurry to get money from Popova that her husband used when he was alive. At this, Popova says that since she does not have money at the moment, she cannot pay. Simonov becomes angry at this further. allegation, further denial, Simonov becomes uh, very angry. Simonov becomes angry because he has been calling on his debtors, but none of them has paid him. Because he was going to all his debtors, but no one was paying, including Popova, who was not ready to pay. But none of them has paid him, and here he is met by Popova in a state of mind. This really annoys Simonov, and he says, "Madam, you have buried yourself within the four walls of your house." He further says to him that you have done a wrong thing by confining yourself in the four walls of the house. But you have not forgotten to powder your face yet. But you are still using the makeup to makeup to make you look like better. Simino behaves awkwardly and rudely and says, "You cannot get around me with your dimpled cheeks and weep. I have refused 12 women and 9 have refused me." He says that he cannot be attracted by her state of mind, how she is describing about her state of mind and how she is actually looking, and that he cannot be fooled by this behavior of Popova. Further, Simonov behaves awkwardly and rudely, and he says 12 women and 9 have refused me. I have fought duels 3 times on account of women. I have fought. Oh, he even says that he has fought duels and battles on their parts. That's why she cannot deceive her. He calls all women insincere, selfish, faithless, and trivial to the marrow of their backbone. That they are completely marrow of the backbone means this is an idiomatic expression. It means completely, utterly, and absolutely. He says that they are uh, uh, absolutely faithless, and there is no chance that there can be any faith present in any woman. Pupua also calls him a bear 3 times. Pupua says that Simonov was a bear. This leads both of them to a fight. Ultimately, breaks out between both of them, which may decide whether only men need pay for their insults or women must also pay, as they want emancipation. So there is a uh, battle going on between these two. Conflict goes on between these two, which and in the end resolves in a better way. Luca becomes afraid and goes to call Gardner and other servants to stop these people from fighting. Luca goes behind, over away from the scene to call other people so that this fight may end. Pua brings up pistols, but she does not know how to fire. During the heat of the moment, Pua brings pistols, but she does not know how to fire. So Simon now teaches her how she can fire. The process of asking for debt and Pupua's stylish attitude makes him fall in love with her. The process of asking for debt and all these processes make them to fall in love with one another. In the end, summary ends. He madly loves her like a student. Papua also begins to like him. Instead of fighting, they are drawn close to each other. When Luca returns with Gardner and other servants, he finds both of them in happy union. And Papua says, "Tell them in the stables that Toby is not to have any oats at all today. That there will be no further oats that will be eating. They will not be eating any oats today, but because there will be a different setup of her mistress, and she will be in a better state of mind, and in this way they will be able to eat better things." The bear is a farce. This is a farce play The Brewster's situation make it a complete farce. We will discuss it further in the physical class. Take care. Thank you.